Hello all YouTubers, I'm the Weather Dude, the weatherman that you can trust. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you all for tuning in to this live coverage for April 25th, 2019. As always, please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, and also ringing the bell notifications. And as always, please look at the description for other great videos by me with superior weather content that you won't find anywhere else. And please try to watch the whole video. Okay, do yourself a favor because you need to be informed about what's going on across the South, which I will be presenting about today. And today's presentation will be about the severe weather that is striking the Gulf Coast. So, we're going to start out, okay, this is not too hard of a map to analyze. This is basically like a thunderstorm map, okay, from windy.com. So, basically anywhere like in the oranges and the reds, okay, with those higher numbers like 1.25, okay, those are like your areas of stronger thunderstorms. Okay, so you can see, as we analyze this map here, we have a strong batch of thunderstorms here. Okay, maybe some patches of storms by New Orleans, Baton Rouge, maybe some stuff off the coast, maybe even some storms in western Alabama. Okay, L/km squared. Okay, so the higher that number is, basically the stronger the thunderstorm is. Okay, and it's basically going to move to the east by 8 o'clock. Okay, this is actually a forecast, it's not just observations. So by 8 o'clock, we see the storms become a little bit more separated. We do start to see some more development, potentially some oranges and reds, and this will move to the eastern seaboard on Friday as well. Okay, so, and you can see we just have some definite thermal heat capacity, okay, which I will be showing you on my next map. Okay, we definitely have a lot of thermal heat, and look at this area of pink in south central Alabama, 1.65 L/km squared. Okay, that's like, or 1.75 actually. So that's some really powerful stuff. There's really powerful thunderstorms in the area. So it's going to produce some damaging winds. As I've been looking, I do not believe there's been tornadoes from these thunderstorms today, as I've been looking at the storm reports so far. But once I show you guys the storm report map, I will refresh it to make sure they get the latest update on the storm reports. But you can see about central Alabama, some strong thunderstorms by about midnight. And again, just southern Alabama, northwestern Florida, all covered in severe thunderstorms. Okay, so here's the thermal heat capacity, joules per kilogram. Here we go. So where we've had the most thermal heat capacity has been in southern Mississippi. Okay, and you can see by the red dot here. Okay, about over 2,100 joules per kilogram. Okay, I remember we were covering Texas not too long ago. Okay, not what they just had, but before it was like 4,000 joules per kilogram. Okay, I'm not saying this is like nothing, but still, okay, we do still have some thermal heat. Definitely got some instability. And if you look at this map here, pretty much everybody's in this range right here, 1,000 to 2,500, which basically means moderately unstable. So we definitely do have some instability across this area. And I don't know if you guys ever heard, but in Dallas Love Field, okay, a parking lot was actually submerged under feet of water. Okay, because it was kind of like an underground parking lot. So they had about 3 inches of rain over there in Dallas, probably more than that, maybe around 5 or 6 inches. But the feet of water in Dallas Love Field, one of the parking lots there. So really bad stuff heading towards the southeast. So I'm going to refresh this page and make sure the latest storm report trend. Looks like 15 damaging wind reports, but let me see if that's the latest. Oh, 16. So we're up to 16 damaging wind reports as we speak. Okay, but like I said, no hail or tornado reports. I can see a few areas getting some spotty hail, but nothing to really report on. But I do not believe there's been any tornado threats as of the latest storm report count. But by the time these storms move through, I can see a tornado report or two potentially being released. Okay, so 31 convective outlooks. Again, Florida Panhandle, all the way over to New Orleans. This is going to be your area. New Orleans, Mobile, Tallahassee, Metairie, Louisiana, and also Gulfport, Mississippi. Okay, all these areas in a slight risk for severe weather today. Evansville, Indiana, which is actually in a marginal risk, which is that little piece of marginal up there. Okay, Albany, Georgia, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, Valdosta, Georgia, and Laplace, Louisiana. All areas that could be seeing marginal risk of severe weather. Okay, over 6 million people to be affected by severe weather today. And by tomorrow, these area of storms are going to move over to the eastern seaboard. Okay, so places like Delaware, Maryland, Virginia, coastal North Carolina, this is your day. Okay, Friday. We can easily see some strong gusty winds, but I do believe heavy rainfalls could be a higher risk. Although I am now seeing some strong gusty winds being a potential. Okay, over 40 million people to be affected by severe weather tomorrow. So D.C., Virginia Beach, Raleigh, North Carolina, Norfolk, Virginia, Chesapeake, Virginia, all on a slight risk. And then Philadelphia, Baltimore, Charlotte, North Carolina, Tampa, Florida, St. Petersburg, Florida, okay, all on a marginal risk. Okay, these are piece of margin over to the west, Central Florida, and then this piece of severe weather by the mid-Atlantic coast. Okay, so those areas for severe weather. Excessive rainfall outlooks. Okay, the areas that have the best chance to see excessive rainfall, which is a slight risk, which don't take it with a grain of salt, even though it says slight. Okay, it means more than it says. But you can see Western Ohio, down to southeastern Illinois have a slight risk, and again, Florida panhandle back west towards New Orleans, Baton Rouge, gonna have a slight risk of flash flooding. Seeing flash flooding guidance. Okay, and then day 2, okay, it's all gonna be in the northeast, mid-Atlantic. Have a marginal risk. I could see that potentially getting upgraded though. Okay, here's your mesoscale discussion, and for this I will zoom in. Okay, so they are saying some convection training. Gulfport, Mississippi, Biloxi, Mississippi, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Louisiana, in this pink cloud here. They're saying convection training over areas that received earlier heavy rainfall that could pose a greater flash flood threat. Okay, the earlier areas that received the heaviest rainfall earlier include right near Lake Pontchartrain in Louisiana. Okay, so that's your mesoscale discussion there. So, radar. So I'm going to actually refresh the radar. If you were to look at this radar, you would have thought we had a tornado outbreak. These storms are ridiculous. We could see winds passing 70 miles an hour. Okay, probably like inch in diameter hail potentially. Okay, you got it all with these storms. Very, very dangerous storms are happening right now across the Gulf Coast. And eventually they will make their way towards the eastern seaboard on Friday. And maybe Friday night will be exiting like the eastern coastlines of the northeast. Okay, by Friday night. So while that's waiting, actually, I'm going to hop on over to the NAM 3cam model. Kind of show you what's going on. Okay, so let me see if I can zoom in there. There we go, that's better. So, forecast hour number 1, so basically like right around now. Actually, this would be right around now. Okay, so we do have some purples, pinks on the radar. Southeastern Louisiana, western Alabama, eastern Mississippi, and again, an area up in the Midwest associated with that disturbance there. Gonna be some very, very dangerous storms. I would expect some tornadoes. Torcons of 4, maybe a couple areas in 5. I do believe a lot of the Torcons are 4, which is 40 to 50% chance of a tornado within 50 miles of a point. Okay, very, very heavy rainfall with these storms, as well as some gusty winds, some hail, potentially some tornadoes. And look at this. We can even see some reds, purples, and pinks make their way to the eastern seaboard. Tri-state area, Pennsylvania, Maryland, Delaware, Virginia, North Carolina, New Jersey. Okay, all areas that will be affected on Friday. That line moves through. But even before and after that line gets there, you will be having some rainfall. Going to be like one of those yucky rainy day events there for on Friday. And let's see if our lovely radar is ready. Okay, so the radars are full of reds across the south and east. Okay, this radar doesn't really show purple. Okay, but if it ever does get to that max point, it'll be dark red or kind of like a grayish color. If it were to ever get to that point. Okie dokie. Let's make our way to the south and east. I just want to take a little pause to make sure you guys are understanding what is actually going on. Because again, if you don't live down there, you don't know how it actually feels. If you've never experienced it, you wouldn't know how it actually feels to be in something like this. I've been in something like this before. Okay, never like, this severe, but I've been in something like this before. I'm sure a lot of us have. But look at this bow echo. This bow echoing. Ugh, tongue twister. But the bow echo is there. And luckily, it looks to be offshore. Okay, because here's the land border right here. So, luckily, the heaviest precipitation from this piece of precipitation looks to be offshore. Okay, but that can come on land at any given point in time. Okay, so if we have some stronger winds coming out of the south, we could easily be seeing these storms move inland. I would see that in a few hours' time. But hopefully, like, areas that are, like, prone to, like, the Gulf of Mexico, areas that dip a little bit farther south, say Apalachicola, okay, maybe even Panama City, south of Tallahassee, all these areas, okay, because they're dipping so much farther south, but they will be experiencing those thunderstorms more. As you can see, this Boeco here, offshore. Okay, very, very dangerous storms. And some winds could exceed 80 miles an hour at times, too. Now, up here, okay, south central Alabama, okay, eastern Mississippi. This line is still, like, very significant, don't get me wrong. Okay, but it's more like some yellows and oranges. Okay, so let's see. From Tuskegee down to Mobile. Okay, that's this other line that you are seeing right now. Okay, it's full of yellows and oranges. Okay, but maybe even some reds on the radar as well. Okay, easily damaging winds, hail, tornadoes, and some flash flooding is likely with these storms. So, let's look at the driving difficulty index. Okay, so this is basically saying, like, is it wet on the roads? Is there ponding on the roads? And I do believe this is a very neat tool to help you analyze what is going on the roadways if you happen to be hitting the roads, driving home from work. Okay, very, very neat tool. And I found this about a couple years ago. Okay, it's really helped me ever since I have got it. So, but a lot of areas for, say, south central Pennsylvania, okay, parts of Pennsylvania, definitely on the wet side, as you can see once this map loads. Okay, but we do certainly have some wet conditions. Now, ponding conditions haven't really gotten to that level yet. Okay, so if we go over the key real quick while this loads, yellow means windy conditions, orange means foggy, green means wet, blue means ponding on the roadways, gray is snow, pink is ice. So that's your graph there. Okay, across Pennsylvania, Jersey, some slightly wet conditions on the roadways. Okay, if you're making your way home from work maybe. But where these ones are left to mark. Okay, the light blues means like some ponding on the roadways. Okay, like a medium shaded blue would be like your ponding. And like your dark shaded blue means like either like widespread ponding or like guaranteed flash flooding. Okay, and look at all these medium shaded, dark shaded blues we have across central Alabama, including Tuskegee, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama. I think it's going to be mainly west of Mobile, Alabama. Okay, but definitely area just east of New Orleans, near the Gulf. Okay, but once these areas of precipitation move their way to the east, okay, this stuff will continue to spread. Okay, but this does not have a forecast associated with it. So we're going to look at the crossovers now. So what this is basically saying is we have winds coming out of the southeast, which is indicated by the white at about the surface. That's your 10 meter, that's your surface winds. You can see a lot of them are coming out of the southeast. Actually, I gotta change my color. Let's make it black. So coming out of the southeast at the surface, okay. Your green arrows that are pointing from the southwest, 850 millibars, that's your winds at 5,000 feet. You're gonna start to get this rotation. These winds are coming from the southwest at 5,000 feet, coming from the southeast at the surface. This is when you start to get your rotation. Okay, vorticities, reflectivities, all are showing some potentially dangerous wind crossovers. The yellow ones, those are like winds that like up at 18,000 feet. Okay, really wouldn't focus on that one if I were you. Just focus on the 10 meter and 850 millibar winds. Those are the ones that you want to focus on. So as we head through time here, okay. Now, if you're like west of where like the surface low is, okay, your area is going to be in a blank. But you can see we're not really kind of going to lose a tornado threat as it makes its way to the east because of wind crossovers. Okay, now some areas, okay, according to this forecast, winds are still coming out of the southeast at the surface, southwest of 5,000 feet. We still are seeing some evidence, some definite evidence of that rotation. Okay, again, the greater risk of tornadoes will definitely be across the south. That's where I think we're gonna have the best chance for some tornadoes. Okay, so radar.weather.gov. I'm pulling this up real quick so I can show you guys the reflectivities and any spin going on, and any circulation evidence. So here you can see the radar again, some oranges and reds, eastern Alabama. We're actually gonna look at the base velocities, and this will help us look at the rotation. So basically, you're gonna see a lot of greens, reds, and grays. If the greens and reds are touching each other, that's your definite evidence of rotation. If the greens and grays are touching each other, that means showing some slight evidence of rotation, but not like full blown out to produce a tornado. But if the greens and grays are touching each other, maybe some slight evidence of rotation. So we're gonna look at these base velocities, and we're gonna stop at the latest run here and stop. Here we go. So as I'm looking at this, I do see maybe some slight rotation in here. Okay, these little speckles over here, just ignore. Okay, the purples, okay, I wouldn't focus on those. Okay, purples don't really mean much. But like I said, the tornado threats are really down today. It's really the wind, the hail, the flooding, everything, and pretty much every other severe threat besides a tornado. Okay, look, we time this out. Okay, for the next 18 hours. Okay, eventually that heavier precipitation will move off to the east, towards DC and the Mid-Atlantic. Okay, but before that, definitely going to have a lot of severe weather across the south. And if we look at the wind crossovers over the next 18 hours, HRR model, okay, and some areas, like the winds are coming out of the due east at the surface. So if that happens, you can pretty much kiss the tornado threat goodbye. I mean, not really, okay, because you want the winds that will come out of the south and east. Okay, but winds coming out of the east, it could happen. Because if you got winds coming out of the due east and out of the southwest, the rotation is just very uneven. It really wouldn't be favorable enough. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please be careful whether you be in the southeast or the Mid-Atlantic, as these storms will track into your area. Okay, please share this video with your friends. Okay, subscribe if you have not already. I promise you it will do you a big favor. Thank you all for watching. Stay safe out there. I am DeWeatherDude, signing off. Till next time.